If you guys haven't been keeping up to date, in the last video got some fresh new 17 by 9.5 wheels on my 79 Firebird. And if you are new to the channel, my name's Nick. You're watching Olsen Auto, and I spend way more money than I should building cars that probably couldn't be a stock Civic. That being said, yesterday I got bored. I was playing around. Now the car has a steering wheel. I painted this little piece right here with that same navy blue that I've been using just because it was old and faded. Gonna have to refresh all that. The car's gonna get a new dash, and to be honest, the wheel's gonna come out again anyway. I just wanted to do that so I could actually move the car around. And of course, you got the steering column going right there. I'm not even sure if I mentioned it. We got a new windshield in the Firebird. As you can see, there's no more big hole there. That is a huge, huge step. The guy who came by, unique character, but he got the job done. He did really well, and he did it cheap too, so I cannot complain there. But in this video, I ordered a lot more parts for this car again, and I really want to get a cooling system in here. So I have a custom Radiator Shroud with 2 fans. Of course, we're not going to be running a clutch fan on this car, but we're going to have the radiator, which is a big aluminum tanked 3-row radiator with the shroud, and then I have an overflow tank that's going to go over there. Let's go ahead, let's grab that radiator, let's mock it up and see what it's going to look like roughly, because I believe I'm going to have to take a notch out of right here if I remember correctly. So this is the big aluminum radiator herself. Not too crazy thick, but it will need to be modified, or the car will need to be modified to accept this. And I lied. I thought my shroud was coming in today. It's in Oklahoma right now, so it's definitely not gonna come in today, I don't think. But it should be coming in soon, so gonna start prepping this. I'm gonna drop that in. Supposedly the internet said it would fit this car, but it also said it would fit a Camaro, because I wanted to make sure it had the right outlets for the water pump and the thermostat on the intake. So I had to buy it for a Camaro because this is a Chevy engine. It's not a Pontiac. Pontiac has backwards outlets. They're a bit different. So I had to use a little percussive persuasion to go ahead and massage the radiator support. I got it fitting in there nice and loose, which is what I wanted, because I'm going to put rubber like inner tube for maybe a BMX tire or something around it, so it's not, you know, chafing against the actual chassis. What I had to do was on this little thing right here, but on the back side on this side. So this little thing, there's like a piece of angle iron almost, and I had to widen that out because obviously these big tanks are a bit wider. And I also had to take this wall right here on the radiator support and bring it out like there. Fits loose now, so I got to get some rubber and make some brackets to hold this thing down. So besides maybe a little bit maybe starting a fire, I did get the brakes. I got some high temp brake heat. High temp brake heat, that's it. Some caliper paint, so it's high temp spray paint, and I'm just going over the drums. What I'm doing right now is I'm measuring out and marking what I need to do for a custom mounting system for the radiator. So I found a different piece of metal that I'm going to use for this, but I got to do that tomorrow, because today, right before I headed out to grab some lunch, power steering pump showed up. So that, I got a chrome one. I really wanted to get a black one, but the guy said he was all out of stock. I don't mind the chrome, and to be honest, there's enough black in the engine bay that it not only looks a little bit better, but it kind of reflects the black, so it doesn't look too bad. Mounted it nice and low. It'll line up with the second pulley on the harmonic balancer, so lines up good. Like I said, gonna work on that. I was able to get the lower hose on, but as you can see, it's less than ideal. It's not where I want it to be. It physically fits good, the shape is good, but this is way too narrow to get over the pump. Like, it is super tight right now, tight enough that I don't think I would even need a clamp. So I'm probably either gonna buy a different hose or gotta do something with that. But I also managed to get these painted, and now that VHT brake caliper paint does lay really good. I really like how it came out. So those are gonna go on tomorrow, still in this video, but I gotta go out to work today. Just gotta finish cleaning up out here. If you guys are curious what that paint is that laid so nice, this stuff blows Duplicolor out of the water. It's 11 bucks a can, but very satisfied with the result. So I didn't film it because, trust me, you don't want to see me fighting drum brakes. But as you can see, it's not just the drums. All the hardware and the shoes inside are new. New wheel cylinders as well. So the entirety of the brake system right now is brand new. Like I showed you guys in the last videos, we got the new master cylinder, booster, and proportioning valve. Inside my house, I have all stainless brake lines. The whole car pre-bent. And of course I have new rubber flex lines as well, so I gotta run those on. Not gonna be doing any brake lines until I do the rear diff fluid, because it runs on the diff, and just the less things I have to worry about, the better. The radiator's still just sitting in here loosely, but I do have these cool little things that I made. So these are little pieces of like 1/8 inch steel. I just painted them and the paint actually laid really well, which is cool. But essentially they sit like this and they hold the radiator right there, bolts down in the middle, and as you can see it's like a little clamp, so it kind of grabs the radiator and the shroud, which is cool. I'm gonna put a little piece of rubber in there just so it doesn't rattle or anything, because obviously it's kind of hard to get these bends perfect, but these pieces came out pretty cool. In the long run, I would like to get a big piece of carbon fiber to go over all this and make this all look pretty. That's down the road, because right now I'm trying to hear this thing run in the next week or two. That comes to my next point, where the cooling system has to get finished. So I have an upper hose that works, I just have to cut it to length. A lower hose, however, has been throwing me for a loop, because I tried to buy the hoses for a Camaro, but it has a different water pump on the Camaro, because this engine's out of an 82 G30 camper. And the radiator's for a Camaro, and the car's a Firebird. You see my problem. So I went into O'Reilly, they let me walk in the back. I grabbed the random hose, and it almost works. I have a few ideas that might make it work. What I'm hoping works. I have my rubber hose, and it kind of kinks off in a few areas. Wondering if I cut some length, if it might make that a bit smoother from there to there, and maybe it won't kink off. In addition to cooling system drama, we also have my quote-unquote custom coolant overflow tank. I just went out and bought some new hardware to mount it, and you can see I have the tape right there. So I painted up the holes so they don't rust, and it's gonna sit just like that. And you may notice those bungs hit that. It should be fine, because I'm gonna use one lower, and then one of those is gonna be for an overflow that's just gonna dump under the car. So I should be able to squeeze it by with a hose, and hopefully it won't kink off. Worst case, I either dent this or Dremel it out. I'm not too scared about this piece right here. Also, don't know if I updated you guys. Got my custom drive shaft back from Rhode Island Drive Shafts, and I just painted it up. She's looking mighty good. Let me take this tape off and show you what we're working with. So I had this yoke right here welded on, new U-joints put in. I still have to grease them, but it was welded right here. Beautiful weld by Rhode Island Drive Shaft, so big hype for that. I didn't paint this piece. I wasn't too concerned about it. I know it's gonna flex and move anyway. And then down here, just had a new U-joint put in. It was cut to length, and that's gonna go in the car. I already checked, and it fits pretty much perfect. Well, my exhaust just came in, and as far as the cooling system is concerned, I made some stops. Lowe's and O'Reilly's, the two places this car's been pretty much solely built from, that and Summit. Got the upper hose on and clamped. The lower hose, I was able to modify. This is just a random hose off the shelf. I'm probably going to do a forum right up on this car about the swap and stuff like that. So if you guys want part numbers, that'll be in there. Got the hose going on now. A little bit of another hose to be a chafe protector against the head of that bolt down there. The coolant overflow is mounted. I had to adapt it from a 1/2 using a 3/8 hose, and then a little adapter down to a 1/4 inch to go into the radiator. And then we have the actual overflow itself, which just shoots out through the support under the car. That's looking super baller, nice and tight, not going anywhere. Of course, the fresh zinc coated hardware, so that is looking good in there. So now going to clamp down this last hose, get my mounts tight, and start mocking up some lower mounts. So I opened up the exhaust box. Obviously going to be running true duals all the way back in this car. At some point I'm going to throw in the valves so that when I have my mode selector, I can open up the valves, and also it'll turn up red line and increase the pressure inside the transmission so that it shifts a bit faster and harder. That's one of my cool ideas I have planned, and I'll talk more about that when I actually start doing it. This is just a 2.5 inch true dual exhaust. We'll need slight modification just because this isn't going to work the way my car is set up with the headers I have. But it's about the right idea, so it should go pretty well. Right now what I'm doing is I have my coil and my CDI box. I'm currently making a little mounting bracket so that I can have them sitting right there. Should be able to hide most of the wiring for it, which is pretty sweet. And I'm still fully figuring out the radiator, because now we're just down to the mounts. Everything else is good and dandy. It's just using some rubber, making sure the radiator's not going to vibrate, making sure it's solid. Don't want that moving around. So that is pretty much what we're working on now. Hopefully going to use some chunks of rubber. That's a piece of tire, not that one. But there's some inner tube down there, which would be a good rubber insulator to put down in here. And hopefully that holds all that still. And I can get a bracket for that. But I got to go to work soon, which sucks. In the last clip you guys saw, I was just getting ready to go to work. Now it's the next day. My camera lens is pretty dirty. And we are back under the hood. Now you may notice, got the brackets mounted. Yesterday I had a slight issue where there was some rubbing. It wasn't fitting perfect. So what I do is I got some inner tube from a tire to use as rubber as a chafe guard where the tank hits on the radiator support. I have to trim it up a little bit more down there. There's also a chunk right in there. And then I use some window like weather stripping stuff to be a chafe protector under these mounts right here that I made. And if you guys couldn't tell, this radiator is like stupid solid, and it holds the fan shroud up as well up top. You can see loose on the bottom, so I had to run out to Harbor Freight, got some cutoff discs. I have some more of this metal, and I'm going to make the lower mounts now. It's just going to be two very simple L brackets with some rubber on them, and those should be very simple to make. So I'm going to go ahead, I got some metal left over, gonna chop it, bend it, bolt it in, make sure it works, and if it does, I'm gonna paint it, let it dry over the next 6 weeks because it's freezing out, and then, well, that should hold that in pretty well. So these are the brackets. I haven't painted them yet. Let me show you how they're going to work. So I have the nut and bolt right here. Under the car, this is the bottom of the radiator support. So I put my speed clip in right here with the actual threads on the back side. So the idea is, with any luck, that'll thread in. I mean, it's not straight or how it's going to be right now, but that's the general idea. So it's got that, and it's got that little tab that pushes in on the shroud. That should give it a nice snug fit to the radiator. And like I said, I got a little spacer that's going to go in there. Going to paint these black and coat them in rubber. Again, I don't want vibrations. And it's just the same exact idea on the other side, where this little L bracket sits like that and holds it in place. So this is the finished product for the lower part of the radiator shroud bracket. So as you can see, it's a piece of it was straight metal bent at a kind of 90-degree angle. I did paint it black so it doesn't rust. And then I got a piece of inner tube. As you can see, I got a chunk of it right here. I cut that up into little strips, and then I wrapped it around that top piece because this bottom piece bolts to the radiator support. This top piece is pushing against the radiator and the shroud. Now I don't want that to rub up against it, maybe cut through it or cause any damage. I also don't want it to vibrate. So I super glued using just some generic Gorilla super glue. Got that inner tube on there. It's the same thing I did with the upper part of the radiator support brackets, or the radiator brackets that is. When I put some rubber on, it'll dampen it, it'll make it a little bit softer, so that should work nicely. You also see I have the hardware in there, of course, grade 8, coated, all the good stuff. And I have a piece of, I believe, 3/8 fuel line that I threaded on because I do need a spacer to space it out. So basically this is going to sit just like this, and then there's the radiator support, which is going to be right here, and then there's a speed clip on the back. And just like that, if I can get the screwdriver in the hole, the fans are mounted on the shroud, and you guys can see there's no more blue wrap. Got that KKS Motorsports radiator shroud, not exactly for this car, but it will fit. The fans are nice and solid. They fit right up, no complaints there. So now, gonna officially drop it back into the car, hopefully for the last time. Obviously, I'm still gonna have to do some wiring here. That's simple. It's just two wire motors, and I'm gonna wire them together so that they both come on at the same time. I don't want to do one and then the other. I want them both to come on when the car reaches operating temperature. So let's go ahead, let's bolt it in. Finally, the cooling system is complete in the Firebird. Now, I obviously haven't wired up the fans because those plugs, well, they're not gonna plug into anything because there's literally no wiring in here. However, they will be wired in to both a fuse box and the sniper, so that when the sniper reads the coolant temp through the intake right here, it's going to say, hey, it's hot, let's turn on the fans. And then it's going to turn on the fans. And it's going to be run through a relay, of course, in my fuse box that I still have to make, but I do have. That's just going to be a nightmare. So we got the upper hose, which is for a 79 Camaro. The radiator is for a C/K series pickup truck with a Chevy 5.7. The lower hose, I couldn't tell you what it's for, but I think I'm going to end this video here. There's a lot more to do, but in the next video, guys, in the next freaking video, this car is going to run. That's next video's theme. Hopefully going to be coming out next Friday. This video is probably going to go live either Thursday or Friday, the 4th or 5th, which is today or tomorrow. Quick rundown of what we got done. So the rear brakes are done in this car, which is awesome. Got a little bit of patchwork done in the trunk. Still not done yet. That's a complete disaster. That was loud. Exhaust came in, but we didn't do anything. Shifter came in, but we didn't do anything. We have the custom aluminum tank 3-row radiator with the custom shroud. We have the entire cooling system mounted up. We have all this stuff mounted up, but I believe that was in the last video. We got the power steering pump mounted. I just need to go ahead and get a belt for it, but that's simple enough. We got the steering column in and technically working, although I do have to readjust it. But I can actually turn the wheel now, which is pretty freaking sweet. So much got done in this video, guys. And in the next video, like I said, this car will be running. If you like this video and you guys are new to the channel and maybe want to check out some more of my videos, go ahead, hit that red subscribe button down in the bottom. It's starting to get cold out now, so that means I'm going to be making more videos for whatever sense that makes. I seem to be more productive when it's 10 below out than when it's 70 and sunny. If you guys want to see more content, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Be sure to drop a like if you guys like this video. Comment down below what you guys are working on, if you think this will actually run in the next video. I'm pretty optimistic. I don't think it'll drive in the next video, because that would mean brake lines, rear diff fluid, and a bunch of other little things. But it is possible, so keep that in mind. Let me know if you guys think this is going to be running in the next video. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, there's so much left to do.
Told my brothers one day we gon' make it. We just gotta grind for that paycheck. Mama told me one day I'll be famous. Remember when she used to say she hate this? Back then they would laugh when I say shit. Now I'm inside all them people's playlists. So one day I'll be stomping.